PLA warplanes score full attendance on patrols near Taiwan in NOV amid enhanced combat preparedness. The Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA, reportedly has sent warplanes near the island of Taiwan every day in November for drills and patrols, and the rare full attendance indicates its enhanced combat preparedness amid provocations by Taiwan secessionists and foreign interference forces, analysts said on Wednesday. 4 PLA J-11 fighter jets entered Taiwan's self-proclaimed Southwest Air Defense Identification Zone on Tuesday, the defense authority on the island said in a press release on Tuesday, the last day of November. This shows that PLA warplanes, in a rare move, achieved full attendance in missions in the region in November, Taipei-based Liberty Times Net reported, citing open radio communications and flight path records. According to the website of Taiwan's Defense Authority, which summarizes all press releases it had published, PLA warplane activities on November 3 were missing. Even so, this would mean a 96.7% attendance rate for the month. The increasing attendance rate by PLA warplanes in patrols near the island of Taiwan is expected, since these kinds of drills and patrols have become routine for more than a year, and it is natural that the complexity and intensity would increase to meet training requirements for real combat scenarios, a Chinese mainland military expert told the Global Times on Wednesday, requesting anonymity. In November, Taiwan secessionists made a number of provocations, including approving an additional budget worth 240 billion new Taiwan dollars, $8.63 billion, for the island's Navy and Air Force to counter the Chinese mainland's military modernization, and commissioning the first combat wing of F-16V fighter jets. Foreign forces also provoked with moves like the visits by U.S. congressional delegations and a parliamentary delegation from Lithuania, Estonia and Latvia to the island, and a U.S. warship transit in the Taiwan Straits. The PLA needs to enhance its combat preparedness to deter these provocative moves, the expert said. On Sunday, the PLA reportedly dispatched for the first time the aerial tanker variant of the Y-20 large transport plane near the island of Taiwan, with experts saying the new aircraft's debut is of significance because it can act as a power amplifier by extending the range and endurance of other warplanes, allowing them to, for example, operate on the east side of Taiwan Island. More types of weapons and equipment are expected to join the routine operations, observers said. Chinese increased military assertion across Taiwan Strait presents US's Suez Canal moment. China's increased military assertion across Taiwan Strait will challenge U.S. strategic interest in the Indo-Pacific, including presenting its Suez Canal moment. According to the Asia Times, China has started to rapidly modernize the world's largest armed forces amid decades of sustained economic growth. If anything, Beijing is enhancing both its asymmetric and conventional military capabilities at once. Earlier, historian Neil Ferguson and former U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor Matthew Pottinger have warned that the U.S. may face a Suez moment over Taiwan, referring to how the 1956 Suez Crisis ended the British and French Empire. On a similar note, China is also expanding its military and commercial footprint by forming a string of strategic bases and port facilities in the Indo-Pacific as a part of its island chain strategy. Taiwan Strait and the control of it presents Beijing its first ambition to control the first island chain. Meanwhile, China is also rapidly enhancing its anti-access/area denial, A2/AD, capabilities which it hopes to develop firmly across the Taiwan Strait, which will be countered by the U.S. Air-Sea operational concept in wake of a conflict. Further, its development of hypersonic missile capability has further enhanced the sharp edge of China's asymmetric as well as nuclear capabilities, according to the Asia Times. China's rapid enhancement of its conventional and asymmetric capabilities is most relevant for a cross-strait invasion across Taiwan. According to Asia Times, the military element is particularly important in the context of the cross-strait tensions since it was precisely America's naval interventions that proved repeatedly decisive in the preservation of Taiwanese de facto independence since the end of World War II. Earlier, China has developed fifth-generation warfare capabilities by consolidating its overall command-control communication computer and intelligence surveillance reconnaissance, or C4ISR. According to the Asia Times, the Asian powerhouse's actual defense spending at above $500 billion annually, which is only second to, and not far behind, the US. Further, China has also reportedly built fighter jets modeling the US fifth-generation F-35 fighter jets, is to deter any potential joint US-Japanese intervention in the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. China is also expanding its military and commercial footprint across a string of strategic bases and port facilities in the Indo-Pacific. Something will happen, I presume. Trump appears to predict Chinese action against Taiwan after Olympics. Trump predicts something will happen with Taiwan and China after Olympics. Former President Donald Trump appears to be predicting that China will take aggressive action against Taiwan at the close of the 2022 Winter Olympics because he is no longer in the White House. Mr. Trump made the cryptic comments during an interview on GB News with host Nigel Farage. Asked about America's place in the world under President Joe Biden, Mr. Trump claimed that the U.S. is at the lowest point it's ever been at because he is no longer president. I don't think it's ever been in a position like this. We're not respected anymore, Mr. Trump said. The twice-impeached ex-president then began lying about a supposed lack of aggressive action on the part of Beijing during his presidency. There were no planes flying over Taiwan and the name wasn't even mentioned. You didn't talk about Taiwan when I was president, Mr. Trump said. In fact, the People's Republic of China did send People's Liberation Army aircraft into airspace claimed by Taipei during Mr. Trump's time in office, including 40 such incursions on 18 and September 19, 2020. Mr. Trump then claimed PRC leaders would not be making any aggressive posturing at the island they've coveted for decades had Mr. Biden not been elected, adding that they were waiting to act further until the 2022 Winter Olympics conclude. It wasn't going to happen, what they're doing now, wait till after the Olympics, I assume, and perhaps something will happen, he said. Taiwan scrambled fighters again after 27 Chinese jets entered its ADIZ. China's military is trying to wear out Taiwan's armed forces with its repeated missions nearby, but Taiwan is capable of responding, Taipei's defense minister said on Monday after a renewed spike in Chinese Air Force activity. Taiwan scrambled fighters again on Sunday after 27 Chinese Air Force planes again entered its Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. Their intention is to slowly exhaust, to let you know that we have this power, Defense Minister Chiu Kuo-cheng told reporters on the sidelines of a parliamentary briefing for lawmakers, when asked about the latest incursion. Our national forces have shown that, while you may have this power, we have countermeasures. Taiwan has complained for a year or more of repeated missions by China's Air Force near the democratically governed island and in its ADIZ, not its territorial airspace, but a broader area Taiwan monitors and patrols that acts to give it more time to respond to any threats. Taiwan, which Beijing claims as its own and has not ruled out taking by force, calls China's activities gray zone warfare. Chiu, who described the situation as very serious, said Taiwan will continue to analyze the types of aircraft China uses to inform future plans. The latest Chinese mission included 18 fighters jets plus 5 nuclear-capable H-6 bombers, as well as, unusually, a Y-20 aerial refueling aircraft, Taiwan's defense ministry said.